Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from MyChartCoach.com, and we're going to take a look at some of the ticker symbols in play today. Okay, let's first take a look at NXTD. Okay, this was a very bullish move. Closed up 72% today. The close above the 50-day simple moving average yesterday was the bull signal. That was you notice here that there were the close above the green line and above the red descending resistance line signaled more upside potential. There was a big gap up open today above the 100-day simple moving average at 180, and the share price continued to run all the way to the past the 200-day simple moving average at 242, and it hit just above this descending resistance line from back here in 2016 and the start of 2017. So this was a really strong move into the close. The next big resistance level is the 300-day simple moving average at 299. If it can break above that, then it could run up here and test this 360 resistance zone. It's going to need to close above the 300-day simple moving average to continue the run. If that level fails to break, you could see a pullback, and you'd like to see the 200-day simple moving average at 242 hold. Okay, the high of day close did form white closing Marubozu candlestick pattern, and this just shows that the last trade of the day was high of day. This signals that the bulls were very strong all the way into the close. So that was a very strong pattern on a giant volume spike. Notice the huge volume behind the move. Fasto did close at 100 because many times when you close high of day, that pushes Fasto to overbought levels. RSI is now at 86, and this was a parabolic move on plus DI. So yeah, this was a really strong move with the close well above the upper Bollinger Band. If you see a pullback, look for the 200-day simple moving average as your first support level. If that breaks, you could see a pullback to fill that gap. If you look here on the NXTD 15-minute chart, you'll see here that this is a chart we were working on today in the chat. The really nice follow through. You see the gap up open with the big volume at the beginning of the day. The share price pulled back and it held support, and then it continued riding above the middle Bollinger Band, riding EMA's 4 and 8 support higher. And then in the chat, we put out this chart here towards end of day showing this ascending triangle pattern that was forming, and we were looking for a break above this ascending resistance line. So we wanted to see a break above the ascending resistance line and a break above the high close here at 12:15, and then that happened at 3:15, and that signaled more upside potential, and boom, it had a big breakout all the way to high of day. So that was a really strong close. Notice it was on big volume, and that there were MACD bull crosses to end the day. So yeah, so keep an eye on NXTD. Really awesome follow through. We'll be looking for a push above $3 to put the 360 level on deck. Failed to break the 300-day simple moving average at 3 tomorrow, and you could see some consolidation with possibly the 200-day simple moving average being tested. Okay, let's look at CHFS. This was another big winner today. Closed up 73%. RSI is now above 70. This also formed the same pattern as NXTD. It closed high of day, pushing Fasto to 100. Notice same move on plus DI, parabolic move. The nice move above, it was a gap up open above the 50-day simple moving average, the green line today. And the giant volume behind the move. Notice this is a thinly traded stock, and so volume was really pushing, and what we were looking for was a close today above the bottom of the gap. Notice the gap between these two candles. This is the top of the gap here on the 18th of April, and then the high of day on the 19th of April is the bottom of the gap, and so the CHFS was able to close above that level today, and that's putting the top of the gap on deck, which is roughly around 130 or so, 129, 130. Now 125 was hit in after hours trading, and so this was pushing higher. I think it closed around 116 or so. So there could be a gap up open tomorrow. If there's a break above the top of the gap level, we're going to be looking for a run possibly up to this 175 and 100-day simple moving average at 199. Those are going to be the two big levels to break, between 175 and $2. Notice this was big support back here in March and April. April. So 175 is going to be the 175 to $2 level will be a big resistance level, and so we'll see if the uptrend continue. If it for some reason it pulls back below $1 and you see the candles work back into the bands, EMA 4 at 80 is the first support level. You want to see the 50-day simple moving average turn into support. Okay, so really nice moves for CHFS today. Take a look at the 15-minute chart. You'll notice that it was had a very tight Bollinger Bands the last 2 days prior to the run. Notice there was hardly any volume, and then boom, on the first candle of the day there was volume. The share price held the 72 level, and then volume showed up again. Towards the end of the day here at about 115, 130. And it took off and started running. And notice it just held EMA 4 support all the way into the close. It was a super nice breakout. This was, that's what we were looking for after there was a break above this 80 resistance level. That was really signaling the breakout higher on the big volume spike at 145. And so we'll be looking tomorrow for, we want to see the dollar level hold. That's always a big deal once the share price breaks above that when it's been trading below. So look for, on a pullback, you want to see the dollar level hold. As long as candles are forming above the middle Bollinger Band all the way down here at 84, the uptrend is intact. Okay, if candles continue riding EMA 4, the chart is super strong. Okay, let's take a look at SHIP. This is another stock that we've been following, and it did really well today. Notice once again we've got the close at 100 on Fasto. Okay, RSI is up here at 86. Once again, this had another high of day close. Okay, so closing Marubozu candlestick pattern. Notice there's no upper wick on the candle. What we were looking for here, this is a chart that we showed last night in our video, and we wanted to see a break above the high close here in April, and that happened today with the open. It actually gapped up open above that level. The lower wick on today's candle filled the gap, so there's no unfilled gap, and the share price continued to push high in closing high of day. We are looking, 118 was a big resistance level intraday, and 119 had been tested just above that. We were looking for a break above those levels at the close, and that did happen. And so notice it closed right at the upper wick of this candle in April. So if it can break above that level tomorrow, there's going to be some resistance here at 125. Notice how there was this tight channel here, super tight channel back here in December and January. But our ultimate target here on this play is going to be the bottom of the gap. Okay, the gap has been filled, but the 200-day simple moving average, and then up to the level that the gap has been filled. There's a gap back here between the two candles back here in December. Okay, so this is the top of the gap, and down here on this candle is the bottom of the gap. And notice the gap started to fill, and then it pulled back. And so now we're looking for a run. Now the level, the highest level that it's been to since the gap down, that level is lined up with the 200-day simple moving average. We're calling it 150, and that will be the target as long as support holds. They put out news saying that they were not going to be diluting, and they were quitting some dilution program that they had, and so the market took that action, responded favorably to the news, and they're pushing the share price higher. Okay, so take a look here at the 15-minute chart. This is a chart we've been working on in the chat. As you can see here, look at this super strong uptrend. Notice volume behind the move. It's been popping in the morning and then going sideways, popping in the morning on good volume, sideways. Same thing here, volume spike with the gap up open, sideways. And then today, the same pattern continued where the big action was at the open, sideways for almost all the day, and then it broke out higher end of day on good volume. So yeah, so this is a really nice uptrend. Look how strong this uptrend is. As long as support is holding, currently the middle Bollinger Band is the big level, and that is the bottom of this channel, and it's currently bouncing off of that. And then notice the top of the channel, it's up here. So we're looking at running back up into the 130s. If it can, we want to see that 119 level hold. 119. You really want to see 118 turn into support. That was was the basically the top today until resistance broke in the last hour of the day. And so we want to see 118 hold tomorrow. If that breaks, that could signal it might consolidate. If you get a pullback, you want to see the 50 simple moving average at 112. That's the big support level to hold. Okay, let's take a look at GEVO. Okay, this chart is heating up here. We've got RSI in the 50 to 70 bull zone. At 55, it's got a lot of room to run. Fasto's back above 80. We've got a bullish crossover here on ADX. And then the bullish move was yesterday. There was a close above the middle Bollinger Band. That was your signal the chart was heating up. And then it needed to break above high close resistance, was the closing price on June 12th. That was the top of this sideways channel. That happened. And there was also a close above the May 31st close. So this was a really strong close. It also closed above the upper Bollinger Band. Notice how the upper Bollinger Band is hooking up. So what we want to see now is we want to see EMA4 in the upper Bollinger Band. We want to see a push off those levels and a run up here to this 50-day simple moving average roughly at 82. That is going to be the target tomorrow. If it can bust through 82 and get above that level, then you could be talking about a run up to dollar land and testing the 100-day simple moving average at 103. Okay, so 82, big level. If we can get above that, it could possibly run up to dollar land. Notice this descending resistance line. It is lined up just above the 50-day simple moving average. A break above that would be very bullish. Check out the big volume behind the move today. It's always nice when you got a bullish volume spike when a stock is breaking resistance. You know, this chart is all set up. All it has to do is follow through. You want it for bulls, you want to see the middle Bollinger Band turn into support and a new uptrend begin. Okay, keep an eye on DCTH. This is the same chart that we showed last night in the video. I just want to show it again today because the chart is wound super tight. Notice yesterday there was this descending triangle pattern. Okay, so there's descending resistance, horizontal support, and then today it basically traded sideways throughout the day, holding the horizontal support from the last, you know, it's been holding this level for multiple days now, for 3 days in a row, and so if that level breaks, if 20 breaks, then you could see a big drop down to 17. Okay, so that's the big level, and what we're looking for is a break above this green line, which is the 50 simple moving average, currently at 0.206. If you get above that, and then above the 100 simple moving average is currently at 0.209, so we'll say 0.21, you know, and then just above that, you know, all these moving averages are converged at basically the same level. There's the 200 simple moving average at 22. Once it gets above 22, that's when you know this thing has got some upside potential. But really the first break is going to be above this 50 simple moving average. Okay, it's been resistance. That's going to be your first clue that it's heating up if you can get a close above that level. So keep an eye on it tomorrow. This is you know, at a flex point. The trading is super tight. It's set up for a move to either break down or break out higher. So you know, it should make some kind of move tomorrow. You know, it could continue trending sideways, but that would just wind the chart even tighter, and that would create even more of a if it breaks out higher, even a stronger move. Okay, so yeah, so when the chart gets wound really tight, it's like taking a champagne bottle and shaking it up. When you pop the cork, the pressure is released and you see an explosive move. So it's either going to be, you know, explosive move to the upside or the downside. It depends on whether or not support holds or breaks, or if resistance breaks. Okay, so let's take a look at IGC. Okay, this is a marijuana sector play. We want to see it stay above 50 on RSI. Fasto's coming down here and testing the 20 oversold line. So the thing here, okay, with this play is it had the gap up open and the big move on Monday, and then it proceeded to pull back for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because there was this gap here between high of day on Friday and low of day on Monday, and the gap almost filled. The green line here at 42 fills the gap. If you look here on the chart, it hit 42.5, so it just needs to go a half a penny lower and that would fill the gap. So look for potential gap fill tomorrow and a bounce. Notice it's hitting the middle Bollinger Band currently at 43, and then we're looking for a run back up to 50, you know, possibly up to 60. You know, the news was good on this. You know, it should be able to start, you know, continue this uptrend. If you notice back here, there was a break above the middle Bollinger Band back here in in the end of May, and then for the whole time in June here, it's been turning this middle Bollinger Band to support. It broke below, hit the 100 simple moving average, but it got back above the middle Bollinger Band. We want to see that level hold and a new uptrend begin. The ultimate level to break is this high close back here at 60. Once it gets above 60, then it could really get moving. Notice the declining volume pattern. It's due for a volume spike. We would like to see a bullish volume spike and a bounce off of support here. Okay, keep an eye on MGTI. This is a stock that has been notorious. Has the cybersecurity and now Bitcoin, or maybe it was Bitcoin first and then cybersecurity. But this is the McCafferty play here. And if you notice, it had this long downtrend, and then there was a break above ascending resistance here at the end of May, and that level's held, and it's been making this really nice uptrend. Notice the uptrend started down here on the break above the middle Bollinger Band, back here on the 22nd of May, and so the uptrend has continued. It's right in EMA for support. There was a big move yesterday, and today it just took a pause. What we're looking for is a break above 140 and a run up here to the bottom of the gap and the 300-day simple moving average. 160 to 167 is the next target. If it can close above 160, which notice there's a gap back here from October of last year, and if you look here, if it closes above the bottom of the gap, it's going to have to get above the 300 simple moving average. But this could run back to $2 and fill the gap. Okay, so this looks like that's what it wants to do. It looks like it broke above yesterday, above the 200-day simple moving average, which is the red line, and then now it's headed for the 300. If it gets above these two levels here, then we're talking about a run back up to $2. So keep an eye on MGTI, and then take a look at FRZT. Okay, we've been following this play. It had this pullback. It started going sideways. It formed a bullish doji star here on this candle, and then yesterday it had a white candle. It was starting to bounce, and then today, it closed up 7%. It was up, in the threes, much higher. It was looking stronger early in the day, and then they took profits and it pulled back, but it did close right at EMA4 resistance, which is this pink line. Notice how the real candle body is above that level. What we've been looking for is a close above EMA4 to signal more upside potential, and so what we want to see candles now stay above that level and then break above EMA8 at 0.032. That's the next resistance level to break. We're looking for a run back up here to the middle Bollinger Band at 0.0042 and a possible break above that. If for some reason EMA4 fails to hold here and the candles fall back below, then you're talking about the 50 simple moving average back on deck at 18. Okay, so that's the big support level. You do not want to see a break below 18 because you could see a drop back down to triple O's. So we'll see here if they want to get FRZT going again. If they do, they will, if EMA4 will turn into support. Okay, another stock to look at is INNMF. Okay, this is the stock that was trading back here. This is a 15-minute chart. If you look here, it was trading at back in the 40 to 50 cent range, and then it had the big gap down. Open, traded sideways, had the nice run yesterday. Today it pulled back and consolidated. If you watched last night's video, we were saying that we wanted to see the 5-level hold. As long as the 5-level hold held, then it would still be in play. If you look here, the reason why is because this was the resistance level, the top of the channel. It broke above. We're looking for that level to turn into support. That is now the bottom of this new channel. That's what we're as long as it holds, and then the top of the channel is up here in the 7 to 8 range, and then we want to see a break above that. If that happens, then you're talking about a run back up to the 100 simple moving average. That's coming down fast. It's at 14 right now. There's a big gap. There's not a lot of resistance once you get above 8, and so if it can get back above that level, it could really get running. If you look here, the big level to break is going to be the 50 simple moving average, currently at 0.06. It did close above the middle Bollinger Band. Notice it had been below that level the entire day. It opened above it, but it actually closed below. So the close above the middle Bollinger Band at 330 was a clue that the chart was heating up, and then the break above, then it closed again to end the day. So this was a very strong move to finish the day above the middle Bollinger Band. Notice it was on a volume spike because it bounced off of the bottom of the channel at 5. So we're going to see tomorrow if it can get above 6. Keep an eye on it. This thing thing has a good chance of retracing higher. Take a look at IMTV. This will be the last stock to look at in this video. We were putting out alerts earlier in the day that it was bouncing, and what we wanted to see was a break above 008. That happened, and then we wanted to see a close. You know, what we were looking for is a break above 0.009, and that actually ended up happening into the close. So notice it closed right at double zeros here. So we want to see a push above that level and a possible run up to 0.0015. Okay, so this is a marijuana sector play, and you know, they're doing you know, you have to read the latest PR. The news is out there. They had some news recently, so yeah, keep an eye on it. You know, if double zeros turn into support, this could possibly run back up to 0.0015 or higher. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. Please check us out at MyChartCoach.com and our YouTube channel at MyChartCoach.com. Thank you.